The Saints crushed Carolina and are playing some of their best football as the playoffs approach. Plus, LSU hangs 63 on Oklahoma in the college football playoff semifinal and are headed back to the Dome for the title game. And the Pelicans' hot streak continues.
Since 1990, 63 teams have won 13 or more games in an NFL season. Of those, only 2 have failed to secure a number 1 or number 2 playoff seed, the 2011 Saints and the 1999 Titans. But now the 2019 Saints have suffered the same fate. Welcome to 4th Down on 4. I'm Andrew Doak. The Saints earned the 3 seed in the NFC playoffs and will host Minnesota next Sunday at noon in the wild card round. So the road to the Super Bowl will not run through New Orleans, despite the Saints pulverizing the Panthers today.
From the jump, it was evident to see which team had something to play for in the final week of the regular season and which team wanted to see a disappointing season mercifully end.
I felt like our players understood that we wanted to get our 13th win. That's hard to do. We took the approach all week where we were really working on our edge. In preparation for when the postseason starts.
The Saints displayed the edge with an 8-play, 75-yard drive. All 8 plays on the drive resulted in a positive gain. Alvin Kamara rounding into form, scoring twice in the first quarter. The running back matching his touchdown total from the first 14 weeks of the season, all in one quarter. Kamara's second score was set up after Sean Payton successfully challenged a pass interference call in the end zone. The birthday boy getting a call reversed in his favor.
That's like a hard 8 in Vegas, huh? I thought it was the right ruling. I was appreciative of it. There's my birthday gift.
And Payton received more presents in the first half in the form of touchdowns. The black and gold built a 35-0 lead. The 5th score, a beauty, turned in by Jared Cook. This one-handed snag on a back shoulder throw gave the tight end his 9th touchdown on the season, a career high for Cook.
When I was running the route, I didn't expect it to be that far back shoulder. I thought it was just going to be kind of right off his ear. And I just went up for it and just made a grab. As soon as it touched my hand, I squeezed it and tucked it.
We knew that he would be able to come in and contribute right away with our offense. We love the way he played, and he's a Pro Bowler. We saw him on film. He's a competitor, and he has tremendous ball skills. So now he's just starting to build, and he's real exciting to see.
It's exciting to see this offense operating so lethally. Whether it's Drew Brees becoming the 4th player in NFL history to throw for at least 3 touchdowns and no interceptions in 4 straight games after Sunday, or the O averaging over 36 points per game since Week 12, the highest average in the league.
I think we've been playing well these past several weeks. We just got to focus on all our details and our small things. Regardless of who we play, and the coaches put the game plan together. We just got to do our best to execute.
The offense peaking just in time for the postseason, while ending the regular season making NFL history. The Saints finished this season with 8 turnovers, the fewest ever in league history. That breaks the mark previously held by the 2010 New England Patriots and the 2011 San Francisco 49ers. Both finished their respective seasons with 10 turnovers.
That's probably the thing we're most proud of. It's something we preach, it's something we work on, it's something that's always talked about and always stressed with what we do. So that number alone equates to a lot of winning football, right? And then you combine that with some of the other things we talked about, the balance and the efficiency in situational football and scoring points when you get the opportunity.
Another aspect of that winning football is stout play on defense, especially when that side is also scoring points. A.J. Klein's 14-yard pick 6, his first touchdown of his career, the highlight of another strong performance on D. The unit has fought back from all the injuries as of late and the 48 points they gave up to the 49ers.
When you have a defense like ours that we feel like we're resilient enough to know that we can not only bounce back but learn from all of our mistakes. You take a loss as a lesson and we push forward. We got veteran leaders at all levels of our defense. You can't ask for more other than to come out there and be able to ball the way we have.
The Saints playing with urgency on both sides. And as the tournament for the Lombardi Trophy is set to begin, the black and gold feel like they're more than ready for the start of it. Reporting in Charlotte, Ricardo LeCompte, 4th Down on 4.
I appreciate it, Ricardo. And get this, with today's win for the Saints, they now have won 37 games over the past 3 years, the most in the NFL, and one ahead of the New England Patriots. For more on this win, we'll send it back out to Ricardo to wrap up this victory.
All right, joining us now is Mike Neighbors from CST, and we're going to dive right into this season finale. 13-3 for the second straight year for the Saints team. For some reason, I think this 13-3 was more through attrition than what they did last year. I mean, would you agree with that?
It's impressive, though. I mean, with Drew Brees going down this season, they've had losses really on both sides of the football. The defense really carried this team early. The offense carried them late. But right now, it seems like this game showed they both are making plays, on both sides of the football, and that has to bode well whenever they play in the postseason.
We've heard this probably the last few weeks from Drew Brees. He wants to see this offense ascending.
Right.
And right now, I think this offense is doing that. And particularly, we're seeing Alvin Kamara kind of getting back in the groove. He had 2 touchdowns through the first 14 weeks of the season. Now he's got 4 in the last 2 games. This is what they needed just to get that balance on offense.
I still say in Nashville, that block he had on Jared Cook, something sparked him. And I know it's probably a little more than that, but having him involved, I mean, you have Latavius Murray, who's been consistent all season. But I think the big thing, I mean, how long have we talked about, you got to get help from Michael Thomas? Well, Jared Cook just continues to make plays. And Traquan Smith, I think he's much better, obviously, than last year. He didn't hit the rookie wall this year. He's feeling better. So you couple those 2 guys with Michael Thomas in the running game. You mentioned Kamara. You got to be excited about the Saints offense heading into the postseason.
I like that comment. We don't need that. The Saints don't need Antonio Brown. They've already got a playmaker there, Jared Cook, right?
I agree. I mean, I don't know if this was just getting intel and to see what other teams were going to do. It just goes against everything that Sean Payton is about. A good locker room with good character guys. And, to me, they have enough weapons right now. I mean, of course, you'd like to add a piece, but you don't want to add that kind of piece right now.
Yeah, I think it just wouldn't work right now. I guess with the chemistry, and I know it's a strong locker room, but I do kind of agree with you. Where does he kind of fit in and kind of bring him late in the season? Maybe it was one of those things where, hey, maybe if we bring him in, another team probably won't get him. All right, so we don't know where the Saints are. After this game, the Saints don't know where they're going to be at. I know they were all watching the ending of that Green Bay game. But everybody in the locker room are saying that this game can translate to anywhere, no matter if they're on the road or if they're inside the Superdome. What are your feelings of this team going into the postseason? I know a lot of people had Super Bowl expectations for this team at the beginning of the year. Do you still have the same expectations for this team now?
I think no doubt about it. I mean, I think one of the big misnomers of the Sean Payton era, he's great. His teams are great in the Superdome. There's no doubt about it. But he's played well outside the Superdome. I mean, the Minnesota Miracle, if that hadn't happened, they should have won that game. In 2013, they won up in Philly. They've won some big games on the road in the Sean Payton era. I think San Francisco would be a tough out on the road, and Green Bay would be a tough out. But I think they're winnable games. I mean, I think the Saints can play with anybody in the NFC. It's funny, they ended the Super Bowl season here in 2009. Drew Brees was benched. Mark Brunell was the quarterback. But it just shows the difference in the NFC now in 2019 compared to 2009. It's a lot more competitive, but I would stack the Saints the way they're playing right now against anybody.
Yeah, I think most people around the league would give those 3 teams, the Saints, the 49ers, and Packers, a legit shot to come out of the NFC. But I'm with you. I still, like in the beginning of the year, feel that the Saints are the best team in the NFC and could be the one that represents them in the Super Bowl. Mike, appreciate your analysis. We'll send it back to you.
Coming up, we'll head to Atlanta, where LSU utterly dominated 4th-ranked Oklahoma, scoring 49 points in the first half alone. Plus, we'll analyze just how well Joe Burrow played in the huge win. And later, the Pelicans win their 4th in a row Sunday night.
In 2 weeks, LSU will play Clemson for the national championship in what's essentially a home game for LSU in the Superdome. The Tigers from South Carolina have won 29 straight, 5 of those wins coming against SEC teams. But they're 5.5-point underdogs in the championship game, largely because LSU was incredibly good Saturday in Atlanta, as Doug Mouton reports.
First team all. The national semifinal wasn't just a win. It was another emphatic statement. For Justin Jefferson. In one half of football, Joe Burrow threw for 403 yards and 7 touchdowns.
I mean, Joe's the truth. He's the Heisman winner. And he won the Heisman by, it's no fluke. Joe Burrow is the truth. I've been saying that all year.
To be honest, it wasn't my sharpest game.
That sounds silly, but he's probably right. But what Burrow did time and time again was trust his receivers. Early second quarter, Burrow scrambles and throws to a well-covered Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson makes the play. A little later in the second, on 3rd and 18, when Burrow let go of it, Jamar Chase was not open, but he was by the time he caught it. And this one will go down as his signature play of the game. Rolling right, he throws it to where Terrace Marshall isn't. But Marshall got there to make the catch.
And it is caught! I trust my guys. I trust them enough to throw 50-50 balls up to them, and they're going to go make a play for me. So I got great people around me, and that's why we've been so successful. We have trust in each other.
But it wasn't just trust. It was smart play calling that took advantage of what Oklahoma gave them. Justin Jefferson caught 14 passes for 227 yards and 4 touchdowns because the Sooners overplayed elsewhere.
Did you feel like they were underplaying you a little bit? It seemed like you got a lot of single in that slot, especially early. I'm guessing you noticed that, right?
Oh, yes. We all noticed it, and that's why we took those shots down the field. So, I mean, if they're going to keep playing like that, we're going to continue to throw them shots.
It's incredible what this coaching staff has done, what these players have done, the connection that they have with the receivers, the protection on the offensive line. I've been a part of some good football teams, but I've never been a part of an offense like this.
And the Tigers played it smart with running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who got limited snaps. And little-used freshman Chris Curry filled in nicely with 98 hard-earned yards.
Chris had a great game. I'm so happy for him. He's dealt with some adversity this year. And he's put in the work. And I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy that he had the game he had. He ran the ball hard as hell.
Are you confident you'll be 100% and good to go for New Orleans?
Yes, sir. More than confident. There were times in this game that I felt like, I could have been in, and I know for a fact that, I can roll. We played it smart.
And as good a day as it was for Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and the entire LSU offense, what might get lost is how good LSU's pass rush was. Considering the quarterback they were playing, it might have been their best overall pass rush this season.
Wrapped up and down in the arms.
Pass rushing is like a three-point shooter in basketball. When those guys hit a heat streak, it's like they're unstoppable. And Caleb Vaughn and all those guys, man, they all hit the heat streak at the same time. It starts with Caleb Vaughn Chase, I don't know. He brought the pressure off the edge. He finished with a lot of hurries, a couple sacks, and he had a hell of a game.
The key was Jalen Hurst not beating us with his feet, and we did a great job of that. We thought the CD line would be something hard to cover, but we didn't think they would drop back and throw the football on us to beat us. So Coach made them one-dimensional. We had a great pass rush.
And a one-dimensional Oklahoma had no chance against LSU's high-speed attack. The Tigers rang up a ridiculous 63 points in the national semifinal, with the finale in the Superdome next.
I know you've been in that dome before playing. Describe as best you can what this means.
Man, it's special. I mean, you look about how Joe came here, Coach O taking over, a lot of adversity, but to have a chance to finish it in our state, in New Orleans, you can't write a better story than that.
Hey, Nola, we coming home, baby. We coming home to Louisiana.
A story with one chapter to go, written by a team that won its semifinal game by 5 touchdowns, and it didn't feel that close. Reporting with the Tigers in Atlanta, Doug Mouton, 4th Down on 4.
Thanks, Doug. And in the process of LSU's prolific performance yesterday, they shattered too many records to recite, but the most notable, both Justin Jefferson's 4 touchdown receptions and Joe Burrow's 8 total touchdowns he was responsible for were college football playoff records. Here's Doug Mouton with more analysis on the win.
All right, we're joined by Michael Cobble, of course, covers LSU for our partners at WBRZ. Joe Burrow today. This sounds stupid to say, but this might have been his best half in a Heisman Trophy season. Is that exaggerating? Because he was unreal.
I mean, I think the numbers were phenomenal, but even he admitted in the postgame that it wasn't his best game, and he got bailed out by his receivers. And if you think about it, early on, I thought he was late with some throws and they were missing some plays that they could have made. It is remarkable to hear when you think of 7 first-half touchdowns that it could have been better, but it could have.
When he lets go of the ball, especially in this game, his receivers did not look open as he's letting go of it. He's either throwing them open or the receivers are making plays. He loves the 50-50 ball and just giving his guys a chance.
Well, you guys are used to this in New Orleans, right? But this is a pro quarterback playing the college game. You're right. Those guys aren't out of their breaks, and he's letting the ball go. And that's that familiarity that they have, that they've developed throughout the course of all their hard work in the offseason. And I don't think you can compliment the receivers enough. And I'm not just talking about Justin and Jamar. I'm talking about everyone down the line. I mean, you think of the game that Thaddeus Moss had here against Oklahoma. I mean, everyone has that same connectivity, and that's what's most impressive to me.
Yeah, and LSU unleashed K'Lavon Chaisson as a pass rusher. You see a real difference in pass rush. And the job they did against Jalen Hurts, keeping him contained, was way better than anyone's done this year.
And I think, it was pretty clear what they wanted to do. They wanted to make him a thrower. Any team that's going to play Oklahoma is going to do that. The difference is maybe this is a level of talent that Oklahoma hasn't seen during the regular season, and they got what they wanted. They made him a runner. Now, he made some plays, and that guy's a phenomenal athlete, and that's expected. But I think the defensive performance tonight is going to get overshadowed by the offense, and that's unfortunate because they played a heck of a game.
They played a heck of a game. I would agree with that completely. And what is unbelievable, this was a national semifinal. National semifinals have been known for blowouts. There have been a bunch. But are you a little stunned at how easy it was?
Absolutely. I mean, I did not think it was going to be this far of a margin. I thought LSU would win by 2 touchdowns. I thought they would cover, but I thought Oklahoma would keep pace. And Lincoln Riley talked about that in his post-game press conference. He thought they would be able to throw blows with each other, a little bit more than they did. LSU really put the pedal down. What they score on 8 of their first 9 possessions. Yeah. I mean, this thing was over. The stands were emptying at halftime, and it wasn't because it was parents of the band, that weren't sticking around for the second half. I mean, it was Sooner fans, and even LSU fans wanted to party, before they hit back to Baton Rouge.
This team getting to the national championship game has been far more dominant than the team that won the championship in 03 or the team that won the championship in 07. Obviously, that means nothing if you don't finish it. They have not been challenged by a team of even close to equal talent yet. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I think the Florida game was a little close, probably than most would have thought looking back on this club. But Joe Burrow is the difference maker. We talk about it in the media. That guy is a generational talent. I don't care who comes next year or the year after that or the year after that. It's going to be hard to find a guy that is that heady, that patient, that poised, and that gifted athletically to extend the plays like he does. Because, we can be honest, the offensive line is good. It's not great. And he's making them look great by his ability to move around the pocket and deliver the ball on the run. So it is the perfect storm, and to be back in New Orleans playing for a national championship again, it's unheard of. 4 times, here, and hopefully this year LSU will be able to finish it off.
Yeah, it has been stunning. Michael Cobble, terrific job as always. An unbelievable finish in the college football semifinal. LSU heading back to New Orleans. Back to you.
Still ahead, the Pelicans closed out Houston in the 4th quarter en route to their 5th win in their last 6 games. We'll hear from head coach Alvin Gentry when we come back.
Entering Sunday night, the Pelicans were winners of 3 straight games in 4 out of their last 5, with a great opportunity to pick up a 4th straight against the Rockets, who were without their big 3 of James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Clint Capella. Of course, New Orleans could also say the same without their star Zion Williamson all season, but tonight we finally saw the shot that Lonzo Ball has been tirelessly working on. Zoe from the top of the arc, 7 for 10 tonight for 3-pointers. 25 total on the night. Now, New Orleans trailed in this one by as many as 9, but with Favors in the lineup, a different team there. Each one more. The corner triple puts the Pels ahead 98-96. Moore had 25 off the pine, and then trying to fill it up again. Can't hit, but Drew Holiday, look at the follow. The jam. Holiday also had 25, but he was far from done. Check out the finesse on this next play, the reverse. Woo! Pels now up 8, 106-98, and then he just went disrespectful. Look at this. Step back stunner. Put him in the spin cycle. Knock it down, young man. Drew Holiday, unbelievable in this game to close out a win. 127-112. They win their 4th straight, and coach doesn't care who is playing for the Rockets.
I think you can't judge anything other than the fact of how you play and how you approach the game. We could use that for the last 30 games, but because I think the guy we're going to get back is pretty good. But obviously not having Harden and Westbrook and Capella out there is a factor. But we can't worry about that. We have to control what we can control, and that's how we play against the 5 guys that they have on the floor.
On behalf of our entire production crew tonight, producer Danny Rockwell, photographer Adam Ney, sports anchor Ricardo LeCompte, and sports director Doug Mouton, I am merely Andrew Doak. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 4th Down on 4 when the Saints play the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card round and hopefully the beginning of another Saints Super Bowl run. See you next week.